Jim. And I'd like to say welcome my guests that will join us today. And it's truly a pleasure to have you all here with us to share our Sabbath together. We're pleased that the doctors have given Rabbi more positive health. Rabbi works hard for our community and for the community at large. And sometimes nature has to take his foot and sit down because he won't sit down himself. But I look at this portion today, and Paul talks about the law of Torah and how Torah is divided into three categories: a yoke or testimony, and these are laws that evoke memories of the past, such as Passover or Chukat. Then we have Mishpatim, laws that have a logical interpretation, laws such as laws against adultery or theft. And then we have Chukat, laws that appear not to have a rational explanation, but must be fulfilled because God commanded us to do so. We often sum them up as statutes, judgments, and commandments. Today's portion, Chukat, or statutes, begins with what is often referred to as the most mysterious rite in our churches. And that is the rite of purification through the medium of the red heifer. Now this is to provide the removal of defilement. If one came in contact with a corpse, or if a person died in the home, and everything in the home is considered unclean, and can only become clean after it was sprinkled with the ashes of the red heifer, mixed with running water. The process was that the red heifer had to be burned until it was ashes. Hyssop, cedar wood, and the red cochineal worm was tossed in by the priest as the cow was burning. Now this combination had to be mixed with running waters, also that came from the stream normally. And it was also referred to as luster water because running through the stream took on a glow of light, which caused the minerals that were in the water. Now it was mixed with these ashes, the water from the stream or the spring. In Hebrew it's called Bnai. Literally means water take away the foul. Now today sometimes you see some of the Kabbalah students, those who are into what they call Kabbalah study. You see them wearing a red string around their wrist. It is symbolic of the red heifer in the belief that it works off evil spirits and demons. Because red is believed to be a protective color. The idea is that purification takes away a curse. What is interesting though is that the person who prepares the ritual to make a person clean himself becomes unclean or impure because the mixture is consecrated to God. That is what becomes holy. The impure and the sacred had the same impact. Nothing that people have had would even be touched while they're in that state. Touching any item in a person becomes unclean upon contact. Now this cannot be understood in the sense of a moral virtue or a physical or moral or physical defilement, but it was an escape or a condition that was placed upon humanity before they could be entered into the camp or return to what we refer to as a normal life. Now leaving the realm of the holy to re-enter the mundane required a process to be readmitted. Oftentimes, that's why the priest washed and changed clothes after sacrificing, indicating that he was leaving from a state of holiness to rejoin in an ordinary state. The idea that there are two separate forces stemming from the same force, and each impact upon the other is both positive and negative. Those sent to prepare the cleansing of the impure became impure during an act of preparation. This duality is interpreted in ancient Israel concerning their God and his oneness. Isaiah 45 chapter, the 5th verse says, I all these things. The same interconnectedness of the duality of man is found in all these things. It's found actually in each of us. That same duality is found in every human being. Our sages taught that man has two impulses. One for good, which we refer to as Yitzhak, and one for evil, which we refer to as Yitzhak. We refer to it as duality inherited in all men. Is there anyone in here tell me that this good thought all the time? Or is there anyone in here that has evil thoughts all the time? I would say not. Even Al Capone, who's called notorious evil gangster, is praised today by some for providing soup kitchens to the poor during the Depression. You see, all human beings have impulses that lead us to commit errors or to miss the mark. But that does not define our nature. But the choices we make define who we are. We are as we behave. If we walk by the light of the Torah, it will guide us to be more conscious of our relationship with Hashem and thus our relationship with one another. Unlike other faiths, our rabbis did not believe in original sin, but taught that the impulse to sin is present at birth. The prophet Isaiah says in the 42nd chapter, he says, "Who is more blind than my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant? For he sees many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears of many, yet he hears not. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness. He will magnify the law, and he will make it honorable." You see, the most righteous men and women in leadership roles fall short sometimes, and that's the negative aspect of his life. In the case of Aaron, he built the golden calf. With Miriam, she spoke ill as a poor, the Ethiopian wife of Moses. Was there a place of honor and reputation as righteous servants of God will never be blotted from our memory from generation to generation? In this portion, we lose him, one of the 7 great topics in our history. And Aaron, we lose him also on this journey. Aaron is mourned for 30 days, the same as we did Moses, at his departure. It is a testament to his leadership and what his leadership meant to the people of Israel and the servants of Hashem. Aaron was a brother whose life was spent on bringing love among people, bringing together. You see, the scriptures teaches us that there is no greater sin than that of causing discord, which is strife and contention. That is what Moses and Aaron faced in trying to provide leadership to a sometimes ungrateful people. Ask yourself, have any of us ever experienced what it feels like to go out of your way to help family or friends, co-workers, or strangers, and they show no appreciation for what you've done? It tends to ruffle your feathers, does it not? That can take you out of your character with that happens. You see, Moses in this portion at the rock of Moreh, and the word Moreh means what? Contention or strife. Now there are 2 stories of contention at Moreh. One at the beginning of our journey in Rephidim, and one near the end of our journey 40 years later at Kadesh. At the first Moreh, Moses does everything right. But here, at this time, he gets it wrong. You see, the purest heart of Israel that paved the way to the people by receiving the Torah after 40 days, twice in the mountains, and sprinkling the teachings of the people for 40 years so they could be removed of the impurities of an Egyptian mindset and enter into a godly realm, and not know the way that they had acquired it. He had become impure by one act. And that one act prevented him from entering into the land. But you know something, brothers and sisters? We all face our own miracle in our lives. It happens in our home with members of our families. It happens on our jobs, in our neighborhoods, in our relationships, in our marriage. And it happens within ourselves. The result of strife and contention is separation. The separation or a loss of any kind causes grief. And that grief can lead to bad health, both physically and mentally. If it is not properly addressed over a period of time, we can allow ourselves to become right. You see, nothing to the degree Moses before did not being able to go into the land, and that he would be separated from those who led and those who loved. When you constantly have to fight with those who you have given the trust, when you feel deceived and lied to because you know you did everything to help this person or this group of people, and they show no appreciation, but they appear to be taking you for granted and making you feel good. So when you recognize that the love you have given will not be returned in a just manner, the first thing you do is go on to deny it. You try to make an excuse for that person, or you'll make an excuse for yourself, and you say, they surely can't be like this. They cannot be this unfair. But then you realize that this is who they choose to be. Whether it is who they desire to remain ignorant or claim selfishness to be different. You find yourself, as most of us do, you tend to get angry. Which is the worst, which is very bad. It is worse to remain angry in a prolonged state. Because anger wears you down. And when it wears you down, it changes the spirit. So after you get angry, you start to bargain with yourself, asking yourself, what can I do to change them? If I do this, will they change? If I change the things they don't like, will that make it all right? Well, I'm sorry to tell you, bargaining does not work. Because when they reject your bargain, we either harden our hearts or go into stress. The strife and continuing with others can turn us around, and we begin to fight and contend within ourselves. And that can lead us further away from our desired path and our desired goal. But Moses, who experienced all these kinds of emotions, like you or I, he taught us that the final stage is acceptance, which leads to unity. Moses even came and he accepted what he could not change. God said that he could not go into the land. And so he prepared to move on for what God had for him. Brothers and sisters, we must be ready to move on from the pain and disappointment in this life, or we will be crushed by it. You see, purification is not a ritual. It is a conscience. What good is ritual purification unless it is accompanied by an inner turning or change by a new direction? We can choose to see the world as God intended or what man has used. Ask yourself, why is our way of life better way? Is it just moral, ethical moment, or they have found other ways to philosophy? Or is it the desire to connect to the source, the energy that has no beginning and no end, that elevates us from the mundane to extraordinary? And that extraordinary is found in the acts committed by us daily that reminds us, as Howard Thurman described, he says, we are apostles of sensitivity. Those who have empathy, concern, genuine love for someone not like themselves, be it class, gender, or ethnicity. You see, self-immolation only occurs after self-examination. And that self-examination leads us to say, I can no longer be complicit with his destiny. It was that profound understanding that set Rabbi Franklin and those who followed him on the path which led to the formation of Israel, with whom we are blessed to have with us today. I am often reminded of the words of the Bnai David. She is the backbone of Mesquite. When we start, she said, we can glorify God by permitting our moral virtue to attain their full growth. But to acquire that growth, we sometimes are asked to leave outside of our comfort zone and step out on faith. Knowing, as Bishop Henry McNeil Turner said when he stood in the Georgia legislature as they were disbanding all African Americans, and said, justice is the great doctrine taught in the Bible. God's eternal justice is found on truth, and the man who steps from justice steps from truth, and his country is never forsaken. You see, David Ariel, in his book, What Did You Do? He placed in there a letter that was written by one of the mothers of our faith. She wrote this letter in Warsaw together in 1940, shortly before she was taken out and murdered by ISIS. This is what she mother said in the letter to her child. She said, my child, you live with the struggle to bring God down to earth. It is a struggle for the sanctification of the human heart. This struggle, your people wage not with physical force, but by spirit and constant striving for truth and constant striving for death. So do you now understand, my child, how we are distinct from others and where they lie the secret of our existence on earth? I would like to give you a thought. All of us here today, all of us here today, we are a collective conscience. We who call ourselves the children of Israel, whether born into the tribe or converted. For I believe in the Rambam, Moses, Muhammad, and Paul, there is no difference. We all share a part in the world itself, but we all must do what we can to share in this world that we are present in. We must do it while we do. So I say to you, brothers and sisters, let us rejoice together with one aim, one destiny. We're striving together to serve the one God and showing that the pathway to Hashem is open to all the children of people. Shabbat Shalom.